welcome back to yet another video on Created Free, which is a channel designed to help you walk in freedom. So today I have some special guests here.
What's up?
Y'all can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Ray.
Oh.
My name is Marissa. I'm Deja Moore.
I'm Ray.
And today we are going to be talking about a topic that people don't really have, but it's a much needed conversation, and it's about sisterhood. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the video. So the first question, my sisters, what is sisterhood to you?
Sisterhood to me, well, I call it a sistership, you know, like a friendship, but you're sisters, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no friendship like sistership. But anyway, sisterhood to me is just being around, and I know people say, like, you know, like-minded individuals. Yes, we are like-minded, but at the same time, we are so different. And so that's really what I value in my friendships. Like, that's what a friendship is to me. Basically, why are you laughing?
Girl, so good. Listening to my sister.
But sisterhood is basically like, you know, giving and also taking, knowing when. Oh, you want to stop?
No, keep going.
I'm
Please.
sorry.
I just don't want you to. Because I was laughing at Deja and I couldn't stop.
Oh, you fine.
I'm sorry.
You fine. But you know, it's just like knowing when to give and when to take, because I think we've all learned from each other. Sometimes it's really hard to accept, you know, love, and that's what I mean by take. It's hard to accept tangible love, you know, as far as gifts. And you're like, all right, sister, let me get your dinner this time. You're like, no. Yeah. That's how we are. Like, that's how we are. And so that's something that we've had to learn, not only to learn to give, but to learn to take and just compromise and communication and all of that. All of that wraps up into a sisterhood. It's not easy, Chad.
I think it's like an accountability partner, but you kind of get a little more with it because we're women, so we understand each other on a different level than a guy would. Not that they can't be an accountability partner, but there's just some things that women just are different. Like, we just know about each other in a different way, that we can share together. But like you said, it's also someone who can help you grow, because while we're similar as women, we're all very unique in our own ways. So that also helps you grow as an individual, seeing how one woman carries herself. Not that you have to necessarily emulate her, but that's someone that that you can look up to. Like you said, like-minded people, and that helps keep you accountable.
I think sisterhood is something that's real, because you can't call everybody your sister.
Right.
As often as we like to say, that's my sister, but everybody's not truly your sister. So I think it's, actually I know that it's something that is real. You being able to talk to your sister about how you feel and be able to be honest and open with her about not only who you are, but who she is and what she means to you. Because I think oftentimes as sisters, we, you can tell the difference between a sister and a friend, because a sister, you can be able to be real with her and tell her what's going on in your life and how she makes you feel. And with a friend, you feel like you got to walk on eggshells. So it's a difference. When it's your sister, you can be real with her and be like, okay, so this is where you hurt me. This is where you're wrong. And as your sister should be able to be like, okay, I received that. Okay. Yes, with love. And it's just open, honest conversations with sisters. That's what a sisterhood is. Just being real, genuine, because you don't really truly find real genuine people nowadays.
Right.
So.
And to add on something you had said about how you can't call everyone your sister, I think there's a certain level, there's a certain standard you hold your sister to, rather than just anybody else.
Yeah.
With them being like-minded, you guys have the same goals, you have the same mindset. Although we might fall short, or we have our faults or struggle, whatever it is, it's not, it doesn't even have to be a struggle. It just could be our habits. But there's a certain standard you hold to your sister, because you want the best for them, just as you would want for yourself, because that's your family. You don't want to see your family fall. Not that you want to see anybody fall, but that's someone who you share the same blood with. We're all the same sisters in Christ. So we all have the same goals, same mindset that we are chasing after, and that is God. So we look to His standard, but we also keep each other at that same standard that we hold ourselves to.
That's real.
For me personally, I believe that sisterhood or sistership, as Marissa said, it's definitely it's a relationship nonetheless, but it's something that you constantly have to grow in. It's not just like, oh, this is my sister, I'm gonna be this way, she's gonna be this way. No, it's like everybody else was saying, it's like compromise. You have to be honest. Like, there's vulnerability in it, and if you feel like you can't be vulnerable with somebody that you call your sister, are they really your sister? Because as your sister, I shouldn't have to hide anything from you or feel like I have to hide anything from you, especially when I know that in your mouth or in any one of y'all's mouths is what I would need to help me get through. So I definitely agree with what all of y'all said. And the next question, to just kind of go into it, because all of y'all have said some great things: genuine, honest, compromise, real, like so many different things. When it comes to a sister, what are the characteristics? What are some characteristics? Because we ain't gonna list them all. But what are some characteristics in regards to what a sister, as far as for y'all, what characteristics they have for y'all?
For me, I'm honestly off the top saying, me being a big sister that I am to, not only my real sister, but my sisters like Ray, Edgy, who are younger than me. It's about being nurturing, being somebody who they can come to, and just wanting to be, like, if they need something, you want to be there. I think as a big sister, you want to have that mother nature to where they can come and be like, okay, I can trust her, you know what I'm saying? Or she got me, whatever it is. You may lack money, you may lack the stability in your mind, emotions, everything like that. And I think when you nurture your sisters correctly, they will continue to come to you because you're feeding them, you're nurturing them. Like, so I think a big characteristic that I love to see in a sister and everything like that is just to be nurturing.
I would say for me, I don't want to generalize it, but it's just honestly just for me, this is just the standard that I hold us to, is, are you trying to be a reflection of God? Like, are you trying to be in his image? Are you trying to bear his fruit? Are you patient? Are you loving? Are you slow to anger? Are you able to have long suffering? And it's just, it's not like a physical characteristic, but it's just like, is that what you're trying to achieve too? Because that's what I want to see out of you as my sister, because I love you.
Right.
That at the end of the day, that's all who we're trying to be like. So because you're my sister, I want you to be like Christ.
Right.
So that's what I expect to see in you.
That's good. I think one of the biggest for me, actually the biggest two for me, is honesty and vulnerability. Because if I call you my sister, I need to be able to come to you with like things that I don't want anybody else to know. And still feel that I'm just having a conversation with you, and whatever I tell you is just gonna be between the two of us. You're gonna pray about it, you're gonna talk to God about it, but that's it. Or even if it's to the point where, like, say for instance, I don't even know what to use as an example, but even if it's to the point where I'm really struggling with something and you have to go to somebody else, that you will go to somebody else that you know is not going to be like condemning.
Right.
So honesty for sure, and vulnerability in the same sense, because I need to feel like I can come to you with the things that I struggle with behind closed doors that probably everybody doesn't see, or if I'm struggling with my pride and I listen. So definitely
That's
honesty and vulnerability for me, for sure.
And to kind of piggyback off of all of you, because all of y'all said some really good things, you know, nurturing, that's God-centered, that's key.
Come on,
And yes,
Key.
along with what you said, my sister, somebody like, and for me, that just sums up somebody like who is real. Like, I need you to. But somebody who is like real. If you are not feeling at your best, I mean, you don't. Of course, not everybody has to voice it. Like, not everybody's going to voice it at a certain time. But at the same time, somebody like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, somebody that's real. Like, you, if you are hurting, you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, whenever I say be real, I need you to be somebody who somebody who is willing to compromise, even if things aren't perfect.
Right.
Even if things aren't perfect.
Yeah, that's how she do us.
That's really
She the oldest.
Because yes, I'm the oldest. So
That's okay.
Absolutely.
thank you, you know. But yeah, somebody who is real and somebody who will say truly how they feel. Somebody with self-control. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to have enough self-control to not tell everybody, you know, our business.
My business.
Yes, you need to have enough self-control. And like Ray said, the fruit of the spirit.
And I think one thing, I'm sorry, sis.
You're fine.
Did I cut you off?
Mm-mm.
Okay. One thing to add on to that, as far as the self-control with like, I don't even know if it's self-control, but me being able to go to you when we have conflict type thing.
Yes.
Right.
And that goes along with being real. Like, if you are upset about something, I need, like, yes, and I don't want to go, and I do understand some people, like, need their space, of course, because I need my space. But I don't want us to go, like, a few weeks and maybe even a few months, and we still haven't, like, talked about the issue, so it's, like, lingering.
Right.
And also, someone who is, and of course I'm not talking about in the natural, because all y'all childish, but somebody who is mature. I love y'all so much.
I'm grown with me.
I'm trying to
Yes.
God. That's it.
Yes, y'all are children of God, but we, and I include myself, we play
Yeah.
all day. We do. And so whenever I say mature, I'm saying like emotionally, and if you're not there, we gonna be working at it. And of course, at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. You know, but that goes hand in hand with being real, just being yourself, saying how you feel, and having self-control, having compassion, having a nurturing heart, and having the fruit of the spirit. That sounds like a lot.
It's okay. It is definitely
It was.
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay because you know the people need to hear it. They need to hear it.
I do want to add on something you had said, Free. I think one of the things that's also really important is discernment.
Yeah.
That's true.
I need my sister to know when something's wrong with me when I can't even talk about
That's
it.
true.
Like,
That's true.
other people
You're
can look
shaky.
at you and not see through the smiles,
But
but I need my sister to be
something
like,
going on with
what's
her.
going on?
Right.
Come here.
Yeah, right. Let's get that out.
I feel like I've done that with.
Oh, Free be in
yeah.
people's business. It's not discernment. She be in people's business.
And sometimes
No,
I
she's
feel
really
like,
good though.
sometimes I feel like I know what's going on with them before they can even
No.
fathom it. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Are you okay?" And they'll be like,
Yeah, I'm okay.
"Yeah, I'm
And then,
good." Then
like,
like
2
an
days
hour
later.
later, or yes, 2 days, 3, whatever.
That's
Like
me.
then they, and I just feel like, Lord, am I crazy? Am I trying to be in people's business? He be like, "You on it? We talking."
And, okay, and I think so. This is probably gonna take us to another like whole tangent in the conversation. I want to kind of look at the other side of things. We've been talking more so as like woman to woman. But what about a woman to a brother in Christ? How does that look for y'all? How does that sister? That's because it's still it's a relationship, but it's between a brother and a sister, not necessarily. Ooh, I want him. He's so fine.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So how does that look for y'all being a sister to a brother in Christ?
I was just gonna say, seeing them at the point of their needs, like, and just
Not them other kind of needs.
setting
child.
boundaries, like having boundaries and sticking to them. Like, if you know that you're not strong enough to do it, don't even put yourself in the situation,
Right.
because you're just gonna set both y'all up for failure.
Right.
So set those boundaries. Have it. Make sure y'all have the same mindset of.
Right.
This is not even like I'm looking at you this type of way. I
Right.
see you as my brother in Christ,
Right.
and I want you to make the mark and exceed that. And so I think boundaries is like number one. And if y'all can't stick to it, let it go. Like, someone else can be their friend.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. There's plenty of people in the kingdom for you
To be
to not tempt yourself.
Yeah.
It was easier for me to understand and to truly be a sister to brothers in Christ. In actuality, if I'm being 100% honest, it's easier for me to be a sister to brothers than it is to be a sister to sisters.
That's real.
Because growing up, me and my sister didn't have the best relationship up until I got to college, if I'm being 1000% honest. So it was easier for me to be a friend or a sister to my brothers in Christ rather than be a sister to my sisters, because I've had a brother-sister relationship. But the sister-sister relationship, I was still working on, and am still working on that. It's always going to be a work in progress, regardless. So yeah, it's just easier for me because I had a relationship with my brothers. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, it was really, really hard. Just because I had never like had that. Of course, I had a brother growing up, but we weren't like
Close.
yeah,
Right.
just for own reasons. But I honestly did not start having like friends that were men, like brothers. That's bad, brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start having brothers until I got to Faithfield, and even then, I was like, and sometimes I'm still like that, like still kind of guarded.
Right.
And so, whenever God brought that one brother in my life, it really just made me like, and we didn't have no attractions or anything towards each other. I was like, wow, this is possible.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's really a beautiful thing because one of our brothers, we all have the common little brother. We don't call him little brother no more. He's a grown man.
And beat us up.
I know.
That's my baby brother, though.
He is so protective.
Right.
He is so caring. He is so giving.
Mm-hmm.
He is the sweetest young man ever. We're not going to say his name because we want y'all to look him up because we all fight. But yes, he's just amazing. And so I think there is a blessing whenever it comes to not only having sisters, but brothers.
Right.
Because whenever we all get that man in our lives, we need them to kind of, size him up. Because they are men.
It is what it is.
Because they are men. You get what I'm saying? And so,
They gave a lot.
We
They gave us
game
a
what
game.
needs to be game.
But to be honest, in all, like, when it comes to brother and sister relationship, you gotta have that discernment because everybody ain't really trying to be your brother.
I was about to say, you gotta know when they're trying to be with you.
Because, like, to be honest, like they say, there be some wolves in sheep clothing. And you want to be able to discern who really trying to be your brother. Because, sis, you got to remember you look good.
That thing look good.
You look good. So,
that good thing
Don't
look
underestimate yourself.
And it-
Okay,
yes.
look good.
yo.
And then because you're a woman of God.
Yes, and sometimes people are sent. Males can be sent to take the God out of you.
Okay.
And one thing you don't want to do is not be able to discern when they're coming, if it's from God or brother, or it's going to be like somebody trying to take the God out of you.
Right.
That'd
It's
be
so dangerous.
Because you
So,
can be like inviting them to
yo.
your place,
And I
inviting
think-
them out
I
to
think
eat,
one
and
way-
they think you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one way to really discern that, he just talked about it in
Discernment.
discernment.
Yeah. What do you say?
You're struggling.
I couldn't get it.
Overall, honestly, just have discernment when picking your brothers because not everybody's your brother. I'm sorry.
And yes, to piggyback on what Deja said, one way to really, what he talked about today in the sermon, to really discern that is this person distracting you from God or pushing you towards God? Because any relationship, sister, brother that you have should be pushing you to look more like Christ, like Raina was saying. And if they're distracting you from that or making you fall, the Bible also says don't allow your brother to stumble. Excuse me. So that means brother or sister. Don't allow your sister to stumble. I'm not finna go to my sister and be like, girl, you need to go to the club with me. No, because I'm not saying going to the club.
We go to Club
Sin,
Christ over
but
here.
I'm just saying, like,
Turn up for Jesus.
I'm not gonna want you to do anything that doesn't imitate Christ.
I like whenever you said, you don't want to cause your brother, or your sister to stumble. I mean, I'm pretty old school, so I'm not about to be rolling up on you in some boy shorts or, like saying, oh, I just came to check on you. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm pulling up to your house and I got on my tube socks. Absolutely not. No, there is still an order to everything.
Right.
Boundaries.
Yes,
and
you still
holiness.
need to have boundaries and holiness.
Come on, holiness.
And another
Come on,
thing,
holiness.
Let us not neglect
Come on,
holiness.
holiness.
yes.
Please.
And another thing is that, I don't know, this was originally on my spirit, but I just wanted to add to that. You also don't want to make this person an idol. Because, of course, they are going to be, man of God, woman of God. You don't want to make them an idol, like, in regards to, like, you're going to them for the word. And you're going to them to, like, translate the word instead of you translating it yourself. And that's just with any relationship.
Yeah.
You always want to go to God first. So if God is being eliminated, because they can be, I have been in friendships with some amazing people of God, like seriously, but their revelation was so good, I wanted more of it. I was like, I love how you see the word. And I slowly but surely stopped looking at it myself.
Right.
And you don't ever want it to get to that point. So don't ever idolize that person. Of course, appreciate them, love them, but don't idolize them.
And I just kind of want to clarify what you said as far as her saying when you need to translate it yourself. It's not necessarily like you like translating it. It's more so praying to God, asking Him to reveal what you need to get from it.
Always go back to the source.
Because when it comes to revelation, sometimes it's what that person needed in that specific time, and it could be different from what you need in that time. So yeah, sorry, I just had to clarify that. So us and them, some experience that you've had that has helped you grow, as far as in a sistership, whether it be with a brother or a sister.
I learned through just some arguments or some heated discussions that I've had with my sisters. And that's honestly, I mean, that's not how I learn. I learn, based off action, like what you do. Not necessarily like what you say, but those are the biggest lessons. If we have a disagreement, you learn from that situation. Like, we're not having a disagreement for no reason. Like, you learn, like, what I did, or like you learn, like, I know how you like it and how you like the situations, if that makes sense.
I will say that one of the biggest things that I had to learn was not cutting people off.
Yes.
Yeah, because back before I came to Christ, I was definitely very quick to cut people off. Like, okay, you do me wrong. Okay, cool. I don't need you. Oh, we get into an argument and you don't want to see it from my side. Okay, cool. Bye. Like, that was something that I did. However, after coming back to Christ, let me say that, I definitely had to relearn that, because Jesus didn't cut off Judas, nor did he cut off Peter, knowing that he was going to deny him and knowing that Judas was going to betray him. Like, he still kept them close, because at the end of the day, Jesus never showed them that he wasn't God, if that makes sense. So for me, it's really just like one of the biggest things that I had to learn was not cutting people off, like really making sure they see a woman of God. Whether that means I have to pray about every situation, even before I speak to you, I'm in my head. If we're talking face to face and you're saying something and I'm just like, that don't even sound right, I'm praying, because I don't want to say anything. I don't want anything to be like misconstrued as far as coming out of my mouth. And I think one of the biggest things that I've had to grow in, that was me learning something, but one of the biggest things I had to grow in was learning how to love. Because all of my sisters don't accept love in the same way. Nor do they give love in the same way. So learning how to receive love in different ways.
The way they need it.
Right. And learning how to give it in the way that I need it. It was a lot to handle it first, but I'm getting it down still. So
Yeah.
With love, you have to basically give and take. It's like, I need to love you the way that you want to be loved.
Yeah.
And I would like you to love me the way I want to be loved. If I'm going to give, that, I would like for you to give that, And so you shouldn't really have to receive love, the way they like to receive it, because they should be giving it the way.
Right. And I do want to add on to that, because sometimes it's uncomfortable for us to receive love in the way that a person gives it.
I guess one of my experiences and the lesson it taught me was to, it kind of goes back to what we said in the beginning, or what I said about what I expect to see, like, in my sister. And that, I guess, was, now I see that it was confirmation that this is my sister.
Yeah.
Is this the importance of walking out your assignment, and the weight that it carries to really stay on what God called you to do, and really keep your mind fixed on that, and always letting Him be the one that guides you, because you never know what your obedience, how that could bless somebody else. It was just one time we were at your old apartment, and we were talking, and I don't remember how we got to the conversation. I just remember you said the word lukewarm. And I said, what's that? And I sat there and I looked, because I had grown up in church, but I never had a relationship like with God. Especially like when we met, I was just like, I was like a newborn in Christ, like infant. And so when you said that, I was just like, what's that? Like, let me look that up. So I went and I studied for myself, and I was just like, whoa, that's me. I said, whoa, that's me right there. But it later on, I was able to look and be like, wow, if you hadn't been studying in your word, Jesus, and weren't really seeking after God, who knows where I would have been. Like, I mean, not to say that God couldn't still get me right anyways, but it was your obedience that was able to help guide me in the right direction, which really showed me the importance of always seeking God, not even just for yourself, but for other people you're attached to.
Yeah, I feel that on so many levels. It's because like half of the time, sometimes it's the battles that we go through is sometimes connected to our sisters, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that sometimes God puts you through things before them, so when they come to you, here you are giving them the exact way how you overcame and how you came out. I think also being able to discern, your sisters, because there are gonna be arguments. Y'all mind if I keep it a stack?
Keep it a stack.
Okay,
Keep
so
it a
here it is. These two right here, they're literally like the same person.
Cool.
And you and Marissa, I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Keep it a stack.
These two behind them have very similar things in common, and sometimes they can't see the greater good in each other. So you as a sister, you have to remain that middleman and be able to help them see how great they are together. So one thing as a sister, you don't ever want to be somebody who's causing division between your sisters. You want to be somebody who says, okay guys, come on, I see this, I see this, I'm gonna cry. But you want to be able to look at both of your sisters and be like, okay guys, y'all are both amazing together, and I don't want y'all, I don't want y'all to end up mad or cut each other off because of this certain thing. And so yes, just be that middleman for your sisters. Like, don't cause more division, but be able to be in the middle and not take a side. Like it says, when they
take a side, that just divides the whole
divides the whole thing. So when those two have a you be that middleman that they can come to and be like, okay, Deja, or whoever you are, and just stay that middleman and help them to see the greater good in each other. Because, like I always say, united we stand, divided we fall. So it's always greater to be good together and just have that conversation. Be real with each other. That's what it all comes down to with sisterhood. Be real, have that conversation, and you be that middleman. Don't take a side, but hear both sides. And if y'all can't figure it out, you go to the next level with the pastor and everything like that. So,
biblically.
Right.
And
thank you, because I was just going to hit on that.
Yeah.
And just to clear it up, it's not that we fight like cats and dogs.
Yeah.
We are, I hate to admit it, but we are very similar. And so, and the crazy thing about it is that we are extremely close.
Yeah, they are.
Like, we talk maybe
Everything.
3 times a day. And so,
sad.
I know, and it's crazy. You get what I'm saying? And so, that's why I feel like that happens, because we are very similar. You know,
And
and
sometimes when you're around it, or when you interact with a person so much, it starts to become like, okay, now you really irritated me. Granted, you do this all the time, but now I'm getting irritated. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And another thing is that we have issues that y'all don't even know about. And that's another thing about friendships. You have to know when to, like she said, when to like keep it amongst yourselves. But if the issue isn't getting resolved, you need to go to a neutral person where you know they're not going to take sides. And if you don't go to a neutral person, don't go to nobody at all, because then it's considered gossip.
And one thing you don't want to do is talk about your sister to another person, because people can be really messy.
Right. You have to know when it's another sister of the two.
Right.
Don't go to only your sister, because they're obviously going to take your side.
Right, because they only know.
Yeah.
And know when you're operating in gossip, and know when you're trying to really get some good advice.
Yes.
Check your heart.
Yes. Heart check.
Don't play dumb.
And
have you know
discipline.
when you really want to you just want to vent. Like, no. If you're just
you
trying to vent, you go vent to your father.
Okay, period.
To God.
And I say that all the time when we do get into it.
Because we do. I don't know why.
When we do get into it, you'll say something and I'm like, I always say, or sometimes I'll say what I feel, and you be like, well, sister, I'm gonna pray about it. It's always like that. I'll be like, well, Marissa, I don't want to respond until I pray about it.
Yeah.
Like,
So even if we got like take time, like, all right, I'm gonna call you right back. I'm gonna call you back tonight. Or I'm gonna call you back tomorrow.
It'd be like the next day. I'm like, Marissa, I gotta pray about it, and I will not talk to her, and not saying.
But it's the best thing to do, because you might say, we might say something that we regret
And piss each other off even more. I'll be like, I'm sorry, girl.
Oh, Jesus.
Upset each other out even more.
You just always want to respond in love.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to say anything that's just gonna hurt you.
Like the Bible
It'll
says,
make you feel worse.
you can be angry but sin not.
Period.
Be mad but sin not. And when you're mad, don't let your mouth write a check that you know what your mama told you when you was little. Yeah, exactly. So don't do that to your sister.
Okay, so the very last question is this is for somebody who might be struggling with finding sisters or somebody who is struggling in being a sister. Can you give any piece of advice to them to help them?
Go to God. Honestly, I would say no, because
Go to God. Period.
He said we can't give you no
That's
1-2 steps no more.
right, because you can go look for yourself, but end up going to someone who's not leading you to God,
Right.
like someone who's out against you, and that's not that you can't go look, but if you're struggling and you don't have that discernment, ask God to send you someone who will compliment you. Yeah, that's all I can say. Don't go to nobody else.
To piggyback off of what you said, right, I would say, yes, go to God, but go to God with an open heart.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be going to God and being like, God, do you want me to be her sister?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't like this and that. No, like, you have to go with an open heart. Like, God, like, what is it that I'm doing that's not allowing our sister or friendship, whatever, to work out? Because I really want to. The thing is about going to God, you have to be willing to change. Because everything that somebody else does is not necessarily everything that they do. It might be something that you're doing. So definitely go to God with an open heart as well. I mean, to add on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to really kind of piggyback off of both of you.
Come on, we're just going to piggyback.
Piggyback.
That's
So,
a strong bet.
Go to God and yes, have an open heart. And whenever you said that question, I imagined somebody that was like, I guess in the same situation that I was in, like I just got out of something and I was like, Lord, I would like a community.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
real.
like a community. I would like friends. But whenever I got there, I had to put forth some type of effort. Like, yes, he provided them, but in order to have friends, you must show yourself friendly.
Any
Right.
relationship
That's
takes
good.
work to keep.
Yes, and so if he puts you in that friend group, but you don't want to like participate in anything, or you don't really want to talk to anybody, or if you don't like people, I mean,
That's not godly.
Yeah, so just go off what everybody said because we're going off each other's day. So you gotta go to God first, be God willing, and then show yourself friendly. And with all that, you literally have to check yourself because you don't want to surround yourself with people and you don't even know who you are. Because like just like we could pick our man, we like, oh, he gotta do. You can do the same thing with your sisters. They're gonna walk this thing out with you in life too.
Right.
So as a woman, you need to know who you are, because you want to surround yourself. Going back to the beginning when we talked about like-minded women, you want to surround people who are gonna go the same direction with you. You want to know, okay, if I take this step, you gonna walk with me, sis. You gotta know who you are and where God has called you to. Because if you don't, you're gonna be surrounding yourself with people who are pulling you from your destiny instead of pushing you forward into your destiny.
Right.
So once
good.
again, go to God, be God willing, show yourself friendly, and check yourself. Know who you are so you can know who your friends should be.
And to add on to that, I think the importance of checking yourself in any relationship, if you don't really examine yourself and try to get in a relationship with somebody else, you're going to end up hurting that other person who's genuine. You're going to think that when they come to you in love with correction, you're going to think that they're just nitpicking at you. Exactly. But when you really examine yourself and when you ask God to say, hey, reveal to me what it is that I need to work on and send me somebody who can help me and keep me accountable, you'll know that they're coming to you to better you and not to hurt you.
I was just gonna say, it's always like a work in progress. Like the work is never done. Like we are all still learning each other every day. Like
Right. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And show your sister some grace.
please, yes, show your sister the same grace that you would want shown to you.
The same grace your father showed you should show to your sister.
I do want to say, not only check yourself, but examine your relationship with Christ. Because he is many things. He's a friend, he's a lover, he's a brother. But how is that friendship as far as with Christ? How is your friendship with Christ? Because you can't really be a friend to someone else if you haven't been a friend to Christ. You can't really love someone else if you haven't fully accepted the love of Christ, or vice versa. So I definitely feel like you should, first and foremost, check your relationship with God.
Yes.
Then once God has definitely changed and moved some things, then definitely pray to God, go to God about whatever friendship you desire or whatever you would desire, because he our daddy. I mean, like,
That's your father.
you know, does anybody feel led to say anything?
Really, I would say
I
like
got
you
it.
have to be confident. You have to be confident in yourself, and you also have to be secure because you can't truly be a sister to anybody if you don't truly love yourself.
Ooh, wow.
Comparison kills.
Yes, then you'll be
And then you
insecure,
competing with
you'll
your
be-
sister.
Mhm.
Okay,
And y'all in the same body.
Yes, because
The same.
I don't know if y'all can see them, but they all look good. You get what I'm saying?
My
They
feet look good.
Yes, they look very
good.
much so
And
good.
do.
Okay, and so if I
She
am
is on my knees.
right, I love her though.
I'm gonna stick beside her.
Okay, stick beside her. Stick beside
I'm
her.
gonna stick beside her.
But yes, you really have to be confident in yourself. You have to be secure. You have to be secure in who God called you to
Right.
be. Because if you're not, you like they said, you'll be comparing yourself. You will be insecure and
And instead of pushing you,
Mhm.
I'm hurting myself. And
right.
you're gonna have to.
And then you start gossiping about her.
And
talking
each
about
and
her.
every single
Then
one
you
of us
got
are
malice.
doing great things,
Yes.
like phenomenal things. And so if we are all like competing with each other and stuff like that, then it's just a big mess. So that is the only thing that I would say that you actually have to prepare for. Just make sure that you have a secure relationship with God. And whenever I'm saying secure, He's forever secure. Make sure
Right.
you are secure and
You
locked
line
in.
with Him.
Yeah.
Mhm. And as long as that is where it needs to be, everything else should follow.
Make sure you love your sister as you love yourself.
Mm, that's good.
That's
And
your
if you
neighbor.
don't love yourself,
Start from the beginning.
okay.
From the father.
Well, y'all, that is all we have for this video today. I appreciate you all for staying and watching. And until next time, two things to always remember: who you are and whose you are.
So I got you, you got me. I don't care what people might say.
Me.
I know.
Hey,
Just right.
come on. Hey, 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 hey.
Twist up.